I think this is a decisive moment in history, and I find it deeply disturbing. Every Sunday school child is taught the principle that your word is your bond. Grown-ups are meant to mean what they say. States, one would hope, are held to an even higher standard. But what does it mean when a superpower, the superpower, offers talks with one hand and drops bunker-busting bombs with the other? Last week, or yesterday, the day before, the United States under Donald Trump bombed Iran's most fortified nuclear sites in Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. Last night, actually. So much has happened since. This was not a reaction to an attack on an American soil. It was not even an immediate response to a direct Iranian threat. It was quite simply a betrayal of diplomacy, of dialogue, and of any remaining claim the United States has to be a responsible actor on the world stage. Trump is not a strategist. He's a performer. He doesn't do foreign policy, he does theatre. And the problem is that this time the theatre has been staged with live ammunition, and the president gave Iran and the world the impression that diplomacy was still on the table. 2 weeks to decide, he said. He waited 2 days. In his televised address, Trump called the strikes a spectacular military success. He boasted that Fordo is gone. But even if the sites are indeed obliterated, what has been gained beyond the cratered mountains of Qom? What has actually changed? The cost is not strategic, it's moral. And the world now sees an America that bombs without warning, negotiates in bad faith, drags others into catastrophe, and the promise of diplomacy has been shattered under the weight of ego and opportunism. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room either. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, who spent weeks urging Washington to join its fight, and now, with America's B-2 bombers overhead, he can claim success. Trump has been lured into Netanyahu's trap, flattered, manipulated, and now complicit in thuggery. Israel's capacity to destroy hardened Iranian nuclear sites was limited. It needed American superpower, firepower. But what America has offered is not strength, it's subservience. Trump, the man who promised no more endless wars, now finds himself launching one as the dog of Israel, the poodle of Israel. The irony? Well, Trump isn't dogging. Israel may now seek to end the conflict, having achieved its objectives, having got America in place. But America is left holding the grenade, wagging its tail, waiting for the pin to be pulled by Iran, Hezbollah, or any one of a dozen proxy groups. And what of strategy? There is none, other than the dogging. The US has 40,000 troops within Iran's missile range, naval assets in the Persian Gulf, air bases in Iraq, Qatar, Bahrain, all now legitimate targets under Tehran's rules of engagement. And Iran has already retaliated. Missiles have struck Tel Aviv and Haifa, but its real revenge may come through escalation by stealth, cyber attacks, sabotage, disruption of oil routes, and quiet assassination. The Strait of Hormuz remains vulnerable. The Red Sea is already unstable. This could become a war not of days, but of decades. Now, I'm not saying that Iran is in any way a good thing, and that the Ayatollahs preside over a good regime. They don't. They're hideous and grotesque. And they keep people in prison who should be free. And they keep their country under the iron hand of tyranny when it should be free. But none of this justifies America's attack. The Whitehall may call this precision, the rest of the world calls it provocation. What does this do to American credibility? Abbas Araghchi, Iran's foreign minister, said it best. Last week we were in negotiations with the US when Israel decided to blow up that diplomacy. This week we held talks with the EU when the US decided to blow up that diplomacy. Who now can take America's word seriously? We can be honest. This is not about preventing nuclear weapons, it's about dominance. The hypocrisy is glaring. The only state to ever use nuclear weapons now claims the right to unilaterally decide who may enrich uranium. If Tehran builds a bomb tomorrow, can we really pretend we don't understand why? This is not just a betrayal of Iran, it's a betrayal of every state who ever signed a treaty, every diplomat who ever shook a hand in good faith. And so we end with this. If the President of the United States, seated behind the Resolute desk underneath a wig, cannot keep his word, maybe not a wig, maybe just a bad comb-over, if he lurches between peace offers and preemptive strikes, threats and flattery, silence and bombs, then why should anyone, friend or foe, believe a single word that he ever says? You can call it real politics, you can call it strategy, I call it thuggery. I call it lying. Trump is a president in a wig, reciting lines from a script that has already brought ruin to the Middle East once before. He talks of greatness but acts with cowardice, fearful of being seen as weak, yet too reckless to understand what real strength looks like. The question is not now whether Iran will retaliate, it's whether the rest of the world will realise that America has ceased to be the trustworthy broker of peace and has once again become the unpredictable agent of destruction.